Hello and welcome to Women of Substance. Today I have a special guest and her name is Jennifer Larmore. And interestingly enough, she is David Horton, my husband's cousin. And David has told me about her for 5 years, as long as we've been married. I finally had the opportunity and the blessing to meet her online. She lives in Paris, France. And David and I interviewed her. And you're going to love this podcast. She started in 1986 as an opera singer in Nice, France. What a beautiful place to start. And she has traveled the world. She is world renowned. She has ministered in I hope that you can read some of the bio that we have on the podcast written because it's extensive. It's amazing. She has won 2 Grammys, was nominated for 11, and master teacher now. And we talked with her on the podcast about soon she'll go to Seoul, Korea. She was in Austria. She has been just all over the world. And what a delightful person. And she's just so beautiful and smart and talented. Now we're going to listen to a small portion of Jennifer performing before the interview so you can hear the great giftedness and talent of this beautiful lady's voice. So I'm excited about you hearing her. And of course, you can listen on YouTube. You can buy her music online and just enjoy it all the time because of the strength and the beautiful voice that she has. So let her inspire you today as you listen. Well, welcome to Women of Substance today. David and I are here with our very special guest.
Yes.
And Jennifer Larmore is with us. And we're so excited. Not only is she just an amazing person, she's David's cousin.
Yes.
And so we are just so neat. It's so neat to be related to greatness, isn't it?
Oh, my.
Come on, guys.
Jennifer, you are the absolute accolade queen of the universe. I've read all the reviews and things, and I don't even know where to start and stop because
well, see, he has to say that he's my cousin.
Well, I remember. We all grew up in Georgia and were together many times at each other's families' homes and meals and. Your dad and mom and your grandmother, Annie Bell.
Annie Bell, that's right, and all those wonderful aunts, Carrie Lizzie and
Carrie Lizzie and Mary, Aunt Mary. Oh my, and of course the South Georgia cooks are just the best in the world.
I miss it so much. You have no idea how much I miss it.
Well, I was able to get one recipe from my mother passed down, which was decent cornbread without sugar in it. That's like you cannot put sugar in cornbread. It's a crime.
That's a golden recipe. You have to send it to me. I've got my mother's squash casserole recipe.
Oh no, I know that's got.
And let me tell you, I tried for years and years. Everybody tried to make Granny's Annie Bell, her wonderful 6-layer fudge cake, and nobody could replicate this at all. And we figured out why finally, after years and years. It's because she didn't go by the recipe. She would take a little pinch of this, a little pinch of that.
A pinch and pinch, yes.
So we'll never taste the same.
So we're all, we're proud of our heritage and have no problem with that. We thank God for opening doors beyond that in our lives, and we all pursued what we had on our heart to do. And anyway, I'm so proud to say that Jennifer Larmore is my cousin.
Thanks, David. But did you ever think that little girl would grow up to be a big opera singer? No. I mean, I remember you wearing, there was maxi, middies, and mini skirts in the 70s. And I remember you in your maxi and go-go
shoes and we would come over to your family home in Atlanta area and just hang out and have so much fun, and your brother and we were just like one big happy family and having fun. And then the next thing I know is that Jennifer is singing in the opera. It's like, really?
Well, I don't know if you were ever there when Mom and Dad would take us. We had to the opera, and we had season tickets to go to hear the symphony.
Yes.
And every Wednesday, Daddy made us all sit in the living room and listen to opera records.
Oh,
how cool is that?
Yeah, it was very cool. And I'm very thankful that I was exposed to it very young. I think I'm the only one that it took with, actually, which is very funny because I'm a rock and roll girl, but I love I loved doing opera, and I still do. I've done it for 42 years.
Oh, wow.
I've had a very long career, and maybe too long at this point. But I think as long as you're doing something that you love, and you still love it, if you're not burned out, and don't push yourself, then why not? Just continue. And if these people are crazy enough to keep hiring me, then I'll be singing.
That's wonderful. So that started on those Wednesday evenings and just going to the opera. And then what happened?
Well, they took me to see La Traviata when I was 10. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the seat and I saw the lights come down. And I saw the conductor come into the pit, and there was such an excitement in the audience. And everybody seemed to be like coming to the edge of their seats. And the people came out and they started singing. And Mom said, I don't remember this, but Mom said, I turned to her and I said, I want to do this. And she said that she and Daddy just prayed that, I would have the voice to do it. And I actually did have the voice to do it. So it worked out perfectly. And Mom said, you were so tunnel vision. That's all you ever wanted to do was sing. And I know it was, because when I was 17, my boyfriend, who I'd had since I was 12, asked me to marry him. And I said, no, I have plans and I want to see the world. Thank God I had
the love that you said that.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but well, actually, if I think about it, I think it really came from Mom, because Mom was a nurse. She was the head of all the nurses at Grady Hospital.
Yeah.
And for years. And she was a very, very strong woman. And she was kind of
great. Your mother was awesome.
Wasn't she though? Wasn't she?
Yeah, she was so. Your mother and your father were so encouraging to young people. Not only you all, but everybody. to
Well,
me.
you know, we had a house that was always filled with homeless people, with people that needed help. There was a family of a mother, a father, and two kids living in the woods across the street. And my father found them and brought them home, and they stayed with us for a long time. Daddy help him find a job
Isn't
and
that
help
beautiful?
find a home. And they were always doing that. And, you know, he worked at a mission for 40 years. Both of them did. So they gave so much back to their community and to just life, to the world in general, that I had a real crisis at one point when I was singing, and I was feeling really guilty because I was thinking, well, I'm not doing anything. You know, I'm not helping anything in the world. And my dad said, don't you ever think that. He said, think of those people that are coming to hear you sing and are inspired and feel
Absolutely.
maybe, you know, their lives were not going well, and maybe your voice helped them. So that made me feel better, but I just hoped against hope that that was the truth.
You know, I think that there's a lot of people that have maybe never even been to any kind of a live venue or concert of any kind. Everything they listen to is recorded, which is, you know, better than nothing.
Yes.
But I agree with it. What would the world be without musicians and singers? I mean, it would be.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And there's another aspect to that, and it's what it does for your spirit, I think, in that you have to make an effort to go to something that's live. It's not like you just, you know, stay in your pajamas and sit in front of the TV and stop it whenever you feel like it. No, you have to decide, first of all, where you want to go, who you want to hear. Then you've got to buy the tickets. Then you've got to decide what you're going to wear, get down there somehow. It's a real live experience, which I think is very valuable for everybody. I mean, and not just going to a concert, but going to a museum, seeing a work of art, just, you know, with your eyes. And I'm encouraging so many young people to just go out and do that. And I've been kind of discouraged lately because I've given so many master classes where the young people are always on their phones and they just don't have any energy. And so I'm trying really hard to help them get an energy for life, for just living day by day and not just observing things that happen on their phone, but really taking part in their own lives.
Having some passion.
That's so good.
Well, definitely having passion. And what is passion? You know, it's something that you participate in. You're not just observing.
Yes.
You want to participate and feel that passion and feel that excitement. And going to a live venue and hearing somebody sing with an instrument that's inside of their bodies, by the way, that's an incredible passionate thing to do. Yeah. So it's you know that's going to affect somebody.
Yes.
So how did you go from knowing you had this voice that could even be further developed and so forth? How did you go from that to connecting to the actual professional opera world?
Yeah, well, this is a funny story. I was working as a waitress, and I was a terrible waitress. I would drop everything on everybody. But somehow I had my own clientele. I had people that liked me despite that.
I'm sure you're likable.
Well, thank you. But I was not good as a waitress, let's say. And I was fired. And I cried and cried and cried. And then I woke up and just in my innocence, I must have been 22, something like that. I said, well, okay, so now I'm going to start my career in singing.
You just said that.
I just said it. And then my husband at the time, my first husband, Bill, had an audition and in New York City. And I said, well, why don't you talk to your agent and see if he will, no, it was a she, see if she will allow me to sing also for these people. And he said, okay. So he talked to her and she said, well, all right. I'll let you.
Bring her along.
If there's time, bring the little girl along. If there's So there was time. And I was able to sing in this audition. And I got 7 contracts on the spot.
Oh.
And my husband didn't get anything, poor thing. But
I don't mean to laugh, but that's just what a story. I love it.
well, it's kind of a fun story, but I just wanted to tell you that that really did start my career.
Yeah.
And I went to Opéra de Nice, where you will be going, and I started my career there. But don't think that everything just fell into my lap. It didn't. I sang for 8 years in every little podunk town in France and Germany and all over in Spain. And then after 8 years, I sang with Renee Fleming, a good friend of mine, who's a fantastic soprano and very, very well known. In fact, she was just honored at the Kennedy Center. She got a Kennedy Center honor.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yes. And I'm very proud of her, of course. And she and I sang together. And then she came back to New York and told Eve Queller, who at that time was the conductor of the Opera Orchestra of New York, she said, you have to hire this girl. And so she did. And we had a concert at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, how wonderful.
How amazing.
And that started really the big career, going to the Met and then all the big opera houses.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so funny to put it in a nutshell like that, when it's like I've been doing it for 42 years and, it didn't just happen like in this 2 minutes.
I can relate.
Yes. Yes.
We can relate, certainly. Oh, wonderful. And I know that you authored a book about some of your life and career. And I when I found out that, I bought it instantly.
What?
And I should have brought it with me to Vienna to have you sign it. And I didn't even know we were going to connect. We connected for dinner one night and
that was so much fun
in Vienna, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? That's the thing about this type of life. Also, you're constantly traveling. You don't get to see your family as much as you would like to. And so when you say it was wonderful to connect, that's what I think too. It's great to be able to connect with the people that you love, because it's not very often that you do. You're usually singing when there's births and deaths and different things going on. So it's very, very difficult when you're that far away. Yes. So it is always wonderful to see family.
Oh.
Well, that's how we feel as well.
Yes.
And we're going to have to all do it again. What advice would you give to maybe a young woman, especially? It could be a young man too, for that matter. He finds or she finds they have a talent or a gift, and they want to use that in life to, like you said, to maybe be an inspiration to someone else. What advice would you give them on getting started or pursuing that passion?
It's a good question. Before COVID hit, I would have said, follow your dreams at all costs. Just follow them. I don't say that anymore because I saw too many people suffer. They couldn't pay their rent. Oh. I had to help a lot of even well-known colleagues get through that. And it was not a happy time for any musician along the way because everything was canceled.
Yeah.
So of course, then there was not that creative outlet and there was no financial gain at all during that time. I had 4 big productions canceled. But I would say now I understand that there's a practical side to having a dream. And if you have a dream, yes, follow that dream. Yes. But if that dream takes you in on a different road, don't buck that, go for it. Go through the doors that open.
Yes.
do what is good for you, your family, your mental health,
Yeah.
but do what you have to do also to pay your rent, to
Yes,
pay your bills. There's a real practical side to this.
absolutely.
Yes.
And also the fees have been going down, down, down.
Right.
And my husband, Davide, and I have talked about this a lot because I'm giving lots and lots of master classes and have for the last 30 years. And I'm finding that there's not a lot of jobs available anymore after COVID. There's a lot of opera houses closed, but there is still so many young people that want to sing.
Yes.
And so I'm saying there are many different kinds of careers that you can have. You don't have to have the big Metropolitan Opera, La Scala, Deutsche
Right.
Oper Berlin, Paris Opera. No, you can have a smaller career and still be happy, but still have a family and pay your rent.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is so good.
Yes, very good.
You know, that's so good for anybody for any career.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
it I've seen it in ministry circles and business
Yeah.
and they what good is it if you sort of lose all your foundation, everything around you, but you have this one thing. And oftentimes we love our careers and they don't love us back necessarily in the way that we would like. So you have to keep yourself grounded. That's one thing that I told Scarlett about you. I said, the cool thing about, we call you Jenny because of our family.
I'm a Jenny.
Yeah, you are Jenny. And that's even part of it right there is that you are who you are. We do what we do on stage and so forth and have a certain presentation and all. But as far as just our personality, if you can keep yourself grounded and know who you are and, what your upbringing was and, things that were said to you as a child that build you and you keep some roots somewhere, then we could say the storms of life can blow and you'll still stand.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, you knew my mother, so you knew that she would not let me act like a diva. She would protect me like a diva, but she wouldn't let me act like one.
Yes.
I remember being at the Met singing Julius Caesar, the title role, and there were all these people outside of my dressing room waiting to get an autograph. And Mother goes up and she says, "No, she's too tired. You can't have an autograph." And I said, "Mom, no, Mom, let them be there because they're my fans. I need to sign their programs." And she said, "Well, you need to learn this little word, N-O." And I said, "Yes, Mama, I will learn that word." So see, there was no way that I was going to be a big fat diva, Look what I came from. Also, I remember at those performances, my sisters, Wendy and Kathy, were there.
Yeah.
And they thought it was hilarious because there I was, I'd done this TV interview. I was, on Good Morning America. I was doing all this stuff. And there I was walking my dog and picking up its poop in the park. And they said, this is so weird, one time you're singing, you're on TV and then you're singing for all these people and they're screaming and yelling. And then you're picking up your dog's poop. So
that's part of being grounded, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's wonderful.
Well, that's life, and I think the older I get, whatever you see is what you get. I'm not a good liar, never have been. And I guess that was also really difficult for my PR people because I didn't throw fits. I haven't, married my second cousin, I didn't cause any problems. And they wanted somebody that would cause problems and yell and but I'm just a normal person doing an incredible, fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel really thankful for that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's awesome.
We could talk to you all day. You're so delightful, and you always have been.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I'm enjoying talking to you guys, but I know all good things must come to an end.
Well, Jennifer, you've just gotten back from Austria, is that right?
Yes.
Now, tell a little bit about what you were doing, and then you're going to Seoul, Korea.
Yes.
So tell us about that too before we go. We want to know.
I am happy to talk about all that because what I was doing was something that is, as we were talking about, a real passion of mine, which is giving master classes. And I feel that it is, I don't know, it's like something I feel I need to do these days is to teach and give master classes. I've taught for 35 years, but and I've given master classes, but going to Seoul was something really different for me because I was always afraid of going into academia. I was afraid it would, just suffocate me with all the rules and regulations. And believe me when I say to you, in South Korea, there are a lot of rules and regulations.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. But I loved the culture and I love the people. And I remember the first week I was there, they would bring me gifts all the time and they would be so respectful, which you don't get a lot of other places in Europe and America. And from the young people. And I was making my own schedule and really calling the shots. I had an incredible, or I have, I should say, an incredible studio, which kind of looks like a Fortune 500 office. It's an amazing studio. So everything I thought about being in academia, it was just the complete opposite.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've loved it. I have 2 more semesters to go, and I would have been there 5 years.
Wow.
And so it started during COVID. It started right before COVID. I had said no 6 times to the woman who proposed it to me. And finally, my husband said, you really should give this some real consideration because, for the future, that's what you'll be doing. So I said, okay. And then I went through all of the paperwork, reams and reams of paperwork, to get the job. And I have been so happy there teaching these people, but also I've been going to the same place every day, which is something I never had before.
Yes.
Traveling 10 months out of the 12.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Being able to stay in one place and go to, that was just something I've never experienced. So I've really loved it. And in Austria, I was giving a masterclass tour in Klagenfurt at the Vienna Staatsoper for the opera studio. And I went to Achenkirch, which is in Tyrol, for the Eva Lind Academy, Music Academy. And it was just a really fantastic time with incredibly talented young people.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I want to tell our viewers today that if you want to listen to the most amazing music that you've ever heard, go online, Amazon, Google, whatever, and put in Jennifer Larmore's name, and you will see all the recordings that are available that you can order. And I have your albums. I have your CDs.
You do?
I do.
Well,
I went to the store and bought
one
them.
of the only ones because I'm the most recorded mezzo-soprano of all time.
Yeah.
A 2-time Grammy winner, but no one can find my CDs. Because nobody buys CDs anymore.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
stuff.
you can download a concert or something. But the second thing I was going to say is if you ever see her you can fly to wherever to hear her sing. It'll be worth the effort. And I'm preaching to myself because I have never sat in a live concert of yours or an opera, and it's on my bucket list to do it.
Yes.
So,
Well, I will send you a list of the things coming up. Okay.
Oh,
That would be
wonderful.
great. We will come. We want to come.
Well, if
Yes.
you're anywhere near, you know.
Yes, definitely.
And I can tell everybody I'm seated around, that's my cousin.
Exactly.
Like my mom and dad did when they came to Paris Opera that time.
Yes. I bet they were beaming, weren't they?
They really were. And,
I'm
you know,
sure.
even now today, they're both gone now. You know, daddy died
Yes.
when he was 96 and mom when she was 93. And
Oh.
I thought it was so cute though when dad turned 90, you know, he was a writer. And when he turned 90, he got his first literary agent. And he was afraid to tell her how old he was. And he said, "Honey, do you think I should get the Facebook?" I said, "No, Daddy, I don't think you need the Facebook. I really don't."
Your dad was the nicest man, and your mom was just so sweet and interested and
Oh, you know what?
encouraging. And
If I died and went to heaven and they told me that my dad and mom had been angels on earth, I just would not be surprised at all.
I agree.
That's so neat.
I agree.
That is
And I have the fond, again, we're kind of making full circle here on this podcast, but I have the fondest memories of Aunt Annabelle and Uncle Walter. They were, again, it was my great aunt, and
Right.
she would cook for me. Now, I don't know why everybody thought I should be fed. I was kind of a string bean. Those days have been challenging now to get back to string bean, but I did eat more string beans. Maybe that'll help. But she would make what she called Tennessee chicken, which was fried salt pork. Now it's battered and fried, like in oil, hot oil. Fried salt pork and some beans and
Crowder peas.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Always had a pot of
onions
crowder
and
peas.
tomatoes and fried green tomatoes. She was great at that too.
So
And the
good.
best iced tea you ever drank.
You're making me hungry.
I know we're going to have to go to
And she had a
lunch.
Boston Terrier, which I love. And I would go, I'd be in South Georgia in the town we were all kind of from, and your grandparents lived at the end of the street that my grandparents lived on, and
That's
I'd
right.
walk down there and go hang out with Aunt Annabelle because she was hysterical. She would
Oh,
have
she was
funny
funny.
jokes and
Oh, I know.
dry sense of humor. She wouldn't laugh at her own stuff, which made it funnier.
So true.
Good memories.
Oh, you know what? I think you need memories like that to
Yes.
walk through this kind of life,
Yes.
to be an opera singer and do what I have done. I think you need a certain amount of poise. And where are you going to get it from? Than the people that you've come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that
true.
coming from Georgia, and coming from the family that I came from,
Yes.
it's been lovely. I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I agree. It's wonderful. You know what? This is good. We'll have to do this again sometime, but this
I'd
has
love
been
it.
so fun.
Thank
you so much, Jenny, for agreeing to come on. We know you're busy and your time is valuable, and we
Yes.
honor you and what
Yes.
you've done. And
Thank
you're
you
just one of the
so
great
much.
people on planet Earth, and we really
Oh,
appreciate knowing you.
Yeah.
thank you so much, both of you. It's been such fun catching up. I know it was a podcast, but I felt like we were just having fun together.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Well,
amazing.
someday we'll all be in France at the same time, and we can
Yeah.
connect.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I
Let's
know.
do it.
Let's do it. For
Okay.
sure. We love you. God bless you.
You too. God bless you both.
Well, wasn't that a delightful interview?
Oh my goodness.
And don't you know that she could share so many amazing things with us? Still, I mean, she did, but just like you said, this could go on and on, right?
Well, and it's just wonderful to see someone who has contributed to the world in the
Yeah.
way that she has and been an inspiration to people.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
just to keep that genre of music alive. I mean, wouldn't the
Yes.
world just be a mundane place without the arts, without opera and ballet. And, she was talking about her parents taking her to, every Wednesday night they'd listen to opera music, and then they would go to concerts and all in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom and dad did the same thing. My parents, I realized they really sacrificed, to buy tickets to the Atlanta Symphony and those things. And my ability to play keyboard, piano, and organ has really helped me in my life. It opened doors that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and and helped me to start seeing the world in a different light. And so the amazing thing is that again, we did the same thing, went to concerts and all that just really inspired me.
I think that's a good point. And, we can end with this, but, we encourage you to take your children out, take them to, some symphony or the opera, or, expose them to these wonderful fine arts.
And the younger, the better. I'm telling you, don't wait till they're 18 and then they're rolling their eyes like, well, what is this? But if you expose them young, they'll have an appreciation for it.
Sure. And it will enlighten them. It will open them to a really amazing world.
Yes.
An amazing world. So anyway, if you've been helped by this, we want you to let somebody else know about the podcast so that they can also listen to Jennifer and be inspired. That's what we're here for, to inspire you, to encourage you, and to empower you. So until next time, we just pray God's blessings on you and have a wonderful day. Thank you again for joining us. And I just want to let you know that these Women of Substance podcasts are the first and third Fridays of every month. So we do 2 a month just to encourage and empower you and inspire you. Tell other people about them when you listen to them and it means something to you. Let some other people know about it, because we really want to get the word into women's hearts that they are significant, they're important to God, and they can do what He's called them to do. If you would like to donate to Women of Substance podcast, we appreciate your support, because it does cost finances to get these done, and we appreciate any support. We've had probably about 30,000 listeners, and it's just so exciting to hear people tell me, Scarlett, I heard this interview, or I heard your teaching on this, and it really helped me. It brought me to a place of faith when I was struggling, or, a situation that it got me through that situation. So if you would like to contribute also, you can do that by going to SCARLETTHORTON.com. Also, if you need prayer, we would love for you to write prayer requests. We love to pray, and we love to pray for any needs that you have at office@ScarlettHorton.com. Also, contact us. We have a Grace and Faith magazine that we put out usually once a quarter, and it gives information about Horton Ministries. My husband, David Horton, and I travel overseas a lot. We give reports of where we've been and the many people that have gotten saved and filled with the Holy Ghost, the miracles that God does. And I know that you would love to read that magazine as well. So let us know if you'd like it. And then we want to invite you, if you're in the Tampa Bay area on vacation, or maybe you live down here and you didn't know that there is a Word of Faith Grace Church called Grace Harvest Church, and it's in Holiday. And we would love to have you come. We have services Sunday morning at 10 and Wednesday night at 7. So I know that you would love our church. Then also on our website, we have a lot of faith-building resources. David has written some books, and I've written a book and a workbook. And then we have some new books coming out very soon. So these resources would help you. And they're ScarlettHorton.com, and you can go on and see those if you would like to purchase those. And then if you would like to book us for an event, any kind of conventions or conferences, we love to minister and travel and preach as well. So we'd love to do that. Again, if you need prayer, don't hesitate. We know God hears and answers prayer. God bless you.